and it tunes me in. It's like I have an extended nervous system. I can feel into people. I can feel into situations. And it's something that I knew about early in my life and sought to actually block because it was too difficult.
Yeah. It's painful.
Yeah.
But nothing
Painful.
that's worth having, right, comes easily, generally.
That is true.
Right? You know, anything, you know.
The way it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Exactly.
life. So it's a matter of taking it. And the wonderful thing about Jyotish is that it gives people that confidence, which really they want. I'm always very objective, very, very objective. The most difficult thing is to maintain detachment. Mm-hmm. Right? To be able to work in life and not be so attached to the results, right? The so-called happiness and, you know, or the so-called difficulties. Because nothing really gives us that much juice on a material level. It's love.
That's right.
Right? It's this human interaction.
And we can't even be attached to love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though we want to manifest it all over the place.
But, you know, in our lives, that's one of the higher things
that's
to develop attachment to, because it also, you know, comes out in compassion. And,
by all means.
You know,
it's the thing to cultivate.
Yeah.
It's the thing. It's you could say, the greatest value for the life force.
Yeah. So this is the heart of yoga.
Yeah.
It's the heart of Vedic. It's the heart of all, is to help us become, you know, more advanced beings and to develop a little bit of detachment.
Exactly. Now, to show off, you could say, the predictive function of Vedic astrology is to say that cycle of Saturn for, is it the next 19 years?
It will begin in 2012 for 19
July
years.
31st. That 19-year cycle has the predictive quality of being governed by Saturn and all that comes with it.
Yeah, we looked to where Saturn was when you were born.
But you also said that it is the planet of great calamity.
But here's here's a little quirk, is that planets, we have a natural nature, meaning like Mars and Saturn are both naturally what we call malefics. They rule over certain things which...
Distinct from benefics?
Distinct from benefics. But then we also have a functional nature. So for a person whose ascendant or rising sign is ruled by Saturn, which yours is, he becomes a functional benefic. And being in the 10th house, which is one of the most important houses in the horoscope, means that this is going to be the most powerful time of your life. You're going to be able to do a lot of good work. Now, if you develop this detachment and also the confidence that, okay, you're here and it's not all about me. It's all about what I'm here to do. Us. You will be so happy. Right? It's almost like a lot of times I'll say to somebody, what makes you happier? When someone gives you a birthday present and you open it up and go, oh, thank you. Or when you give something to someone else. That feeling just of giving, which makes you feel better inside. It's why charity makes people feel good.
Exactly. Philanthropy.
Exactly. Because we begin to get to the core.
Others. Exactly.
Right.
There's something to it. It wakens our heart in a way to watch someone smile because of what you've done.
Absolutely.
You know, there's actually nothing of greater value.
Right. And it behooves us to develop a little bit of that detachment. Otherwise, when we get involved in this work, we're going to just be crying all day, and all, right? Because we have to deal with so much pain and so much suffering. But we have to develop it.
That's right.
Right? We have to develop
it's just one of those emotional muscles, you could say, that comes with the terrain.
Yeah. And to be here now.
Exactly.
Not always living in the future, nor living in the past. Too often people have a tendency to do that.
Exactly.
Right?
But I'd like to take a look again at the future from the Vedic point of view. And thank you so much for all of your good work and sharing here with me and with us.
Well, it's my pleasure.
For, looking at my chart. And now I'd like to take that same wisdom inherent in light astrology, Jyotish, and apply it to the larger world context in which we live. What do you see, Howard, happening?
Well, what we do...
what should we know?
One of the most powerful things that we do is cast a chart for the new moon in Pisces every year. which is just before Sun enters the first sign of Aries. It's usually...
by the way, I am an Aries sun.
You're an Aries sun.
Vedic Astrology,
exactly.
not a Taurus.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you fit it.
Hey.
You fit it very well.
I also fit a Taurus, by the way.
Well, like
in
I said,
many respects.
there are certain
Believe me.
significations, that have been sort of modified.
That's right.
It's a different system.
Exactly.
But this
Please
year, at the new moon time, we have a lot of planets in the sign of Pisces, a water sign. One of the things that this indicates are storms.
Tsunamis.
Yeah. It's funny, back in the 90s, I was living in England from the early 90s to almost the end of them. And I used to write for about 4 or 5 magazines, and I used to do a lot of public work just in England. And recently, people have been contacting me or writing to me since I got on Facebook. It's just recent for me getting on Facebook, and really in the last few months, saying, you made these predictions and this, and I can't believe it. Because I've never predicted, people say the end of the world, but for some people, certain big calamities are the end of the world. When a tsunami happens, and if the people that are wiped out, that was the end of the world. And so people talking about, well, the Mayan calendar said this or that, next year, 2012. No, the world has, by the Vedic calculation of time, just this yuga has another 427,000 years to go. Oh, well, all right, we're talking millions of years in these, billions.
Put a new battery in your watch, folks.
Yes, but we are having a lot of these, might say, small little pointed devastations. So we cast these charts for different countries.
So the Kali Yuga has another
427,000 years. But right now is a time when many people are getting an opportunity.
That's the age of darkness, by the way.
It is.
Everyone.
But we're in sort of a little light period that's beginning here, and it's said that for about the next almost 10,000 years, I would say the beginning in about another 200-300 years, we'll see a good 9,000 years when human consciousness will grow at a very rapid pace. And hopefully
That's very funny in light of, no pun intended, everything we've been experiencing.
Yeah, well, it's
rapid? Did you say rapid?
Yeah, but and then it allows us to sort of transmigrate off of this plane. But after that, it's going to get deep. And deep, very, very, very difficult.
Again.
Oh, yeah. Well,
after this.
Well, the dinosaurs and the caves, that comes at the end of Kali Yuga. Right? Science is they put what they can find, but that's at the end.
What is the length of the Kali Yuga?
Well, the Kali Yuga is about 432,000 years.
So we were at the very beginning from that.
Oh, yeah, it's only been in 5,000 years since it began. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken again 5,000 years ago when Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And this is one chapter of the great epic Mahabharata.
I'm getting depressed.
So, but no, it's a
5,000 years. That's it. And we had come from what age prior to that?
Before that, we had what was called the Dwarpa Yuga. Right? And the Dwarpa Yuga is a little longer. Let's just say approximately 900 and some thousand years. No, actually, it's a little less than that. It's more about 700,000.
What was its characteristic?
Well, its characteristic at that time, still from the Satya Yuga to the Treta Yuga, to the Dwarpa Yuga. Satya Yuga is the age of light.
Sure.
Right?
Of truth.
So, yeah, and so that's when you could really meditate. Because a yogi could meditate for 10,000 years. They live for 100,000 years. Right? And then the duration of life is reduced. Treta Yuga, well, he lived, for 10,000 years.
This is like talking about geological time, Howard.
Yeah.
This is like the age of a mineral. No wonder you like gemstones so much.
Well, it's been part of what I do, and we use them in Jyotish. We use them, we recommend them for people because they have powerful energies.
Sure.
We actually specialize in Ayurvedic gem therapy. Matter of fact, Dr. Suhu, we met because we invented some medical machinery.
The gem lamp.
The gem lamps. And Dr. Suhu now has these lamps in his Manhattan office down at Union Square, as well as at his office on Long Island. And he's so busy. I call him the Ever-Ready Bunny.
Oh,
keeps on going.
You thought I had energy?
Yeah.
He has more.
It's phenomenal. Non-invasive. It allows, the transmission of these rays. And then, of course, gems can be worn by people as well.
Exactly. Let's come back because I really want people to have a takeaway based on the Jyotish perspective on what is happening today and in the next, say, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, as you see it?
In this year, I think people are always wondering, well, what about the economy? For a lot of people, this year is going to get a lot better. Okay, there's going to be a lot of growth. There's going to be a lot of money made. There's going to be a lot of growth in certain segments of the population, certain segments of business, etc.
Can you be specific?
Well, I think, you notice about the markets, have been going up. You notice that gold is at an all-time high. Also, in gold, the gem industry, which
oil, silver.
I've had my hands in gems most of my life.
Yes.
And they've just gone in the, finer qualities.
Skyrocketing.
Okay, everything has gone up. But it will be a time where a lot of people will do very, very well.
So that's interesting. In light of all that's happening, it seems like, from your point of view, the economy, from the Vedic point of view, the economy will be improving rather considerably during the course of these 12 months.
Yeah, and the overall. But, certain segments, of course, are not. I mean, that's just kind of a part of it.
Yes, of course. It always goes that way.
As well, but I think it is going to be a very progressive
year. You have to give us,
year.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Oh, that seems very strange to say to a Vedic astrologer. But, they're coming after us. What is the final point that you would like to make for people to walk away from the point of view of Vedic astrology for this coming year?
Well, I think that with Vedic astrology, if a person has a reading, if they're able to glean some knowledge, understand what actions that they can take, what things they can bring into their lives, gems being one of them that will help them, and then be able to realize their potential in life.
Great. Give your website.
My website is www.vedic, V-E-D-I-C, world, WORLD.org.
Wonderful. Howard Beckman, a total pleasure to have you on the show today.
Been a pleasure, Mitchell. A real pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure. This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World. Thanks so much for joining us. Go to our website at, thank you, Mozart, www.abetterworld.net. I look forward to seeing you all next week.